Judith Oesu. I'm DevOps engineer and I'm Beninese. I currently live in Benin. So I'm happy to this here with you. Hello. Please, you see my screen? My screen is okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. The topic in this here is how to use Docker to deploy your project. So I use a DevOps. I use a DevOps tools every day. This is my profile. I'm DevOps engineer and sysadmin. I'm passionate about the cloud computing and I have a bachelor degree in computer security. So let's start. This is a table of contents. Firstly, I developed a containerization. How and why does this help to optimize your infrastructure? I present Docker and I present an example. So I have a first ask question. Containerization. So containerization is method of isolating and packaging an application with all its dependency. I currently deploy your project in your VPC, in VPS, and web server. The containerization is another method to use to deploy your project. So this method is writing and packaging your application and will help to create a new environment for your project. The containerization, there is virtualization. The virtualization is method to create a new VPS, a new server to deploy your application. So, unlike virtual machine that include a completing operating system, container share the host kernel, making them merge. I want to next step is a advantage and a disadvantage to use a containerization. The containerization help you to run your application in an identically developed machine. It will help you to create a production environment to testing your app when I give access in everyone. With a containerization, we have possibility to installation. Each container has its own file, network, and process. No conflict between different application dependency. Application dependency. I have a reportability advantage. The environment is described in a versional Docker file. No more. No more is work on my machine, no work is in production. So with a containerization, we have possibility to make a scaling. The scaling is simplified. You can instantly multiply the instance of a container to increase a load. With a container, you have a possibility to reduce the cost on your infrastructure. With a container, it's possible to deploy many applications in your one server. So it is a fast for disadvantage. The disadvantage, the bit in a many advantage, containerization have three major limitations. First, security is less robust that of virtual machine because container share the host kernel. A kernel level vulnerability could compromise the entire system. Secondly, managing persistent data remains problematic. A container is ephemeral and retain data, database, user file, After the container is shut down, require additional configuration with volume. We complicate the setup. Finally, a large-scale orchestration become complex as soon as we go beyond a few containers. Manually management the network and load balancing act as a significant layer of complexity. The next step is a Docker. I will present a Docker and the different part and container components in Docker. Docker relies on a client server architecture. The first is Docker. Docker is an open source platform that allows you to automate the creation. So Docker is a tool to use to create a container instance. Docker is a platform to use to create a container. So Docker is an open source platform. With a Docker, you have possibility to
just
create.
Just one thing before. I know it can be hard for you, but do both. Look at the people who want to join the event as well, because I think there are some people who ask why no one is letting them like admitting them. Do both. Try to look at the people who you can admit as well. If there are any, I don't know if there are any. I'm just looking at what happened in the comments in the WhatsApp. Just I shut up, but yeah, just look at both your presentation and the people who want to join. Thank you.
Is okay, Farad, you continue my presentation?
Yes, you continue presentation. I'm just asking to look at both the presentation and the people that you can let in. That's it. It's a great presentation. I'm learning a lot.
Okay, thank you. In Docker, the user describes the desired environment in a simple text file called a Docker file. A Docker file is the file to use to create a Docker image and a Docker instance. A Docker instance is also a container and in a containerization environment. So, Docker relies on a client-server architecture, whose core is the Docker daemon, a system process that runs in the background and manages the entry container lifecycle. Creation, execution, termination, deletion. This daemon exposes a REST API that the Docker client. The Docker client is the command to use to create and execute the Docker command in your terminal. To use a Docker client to make a query and in the server. Finally, Docker integrates several optional components and Docker init, Docker proxy to use to routing between the host and the container. So, some Docker commands: Docker PS, Docker images, Docker run, and Docker build. Docker PS to use to allow your list to list all the containers on your server that are up. Docker images to use to allow all image server present in your server. Docker run launching a container in detach mode and mapping the port. Docker build to use this command to run to build a Docker image to build a Docker image. So the next step is how to use Docker. This is a topic you are here. So I make images on one Docker file. You have a firstly from is a command to use to make a base. The base it's possible to use Ubuntu image, Jenkins image, Node image, PHP image. You have it possible to comment, and you have possible to define the copy command and the run command. When I make as a command to execute in your container to use run. When I make a copy to use a copy command in your Docker file. So the command in npm run build is common to use to build a web application images. So in secondary test, you have engines. You are use a base engines image. This example in a Docker command to use a Docker build and make a project name and tag. A tag is a specific to use to when I search your image, you use a tag. This command is help to create an images of your project. Docker images to listing all image in your server. Docker run to help to run a command. So you use a project name and tag to pull and call the images, a Docker images you want to start. Curl is a command to use in a browser and a terminal to get the application link. Docker Compose and Docker Swarm. Docker Compose and Docker Swarm Docker Compose and Docker Swarm, beyond the basic Docker command, the ecosystem offers complementary tools for managing more complex projects. Docker Compose. To use Docker Compose to locally orchestrate multiple containers that work together. A use case, you have a web application with a database, Redis cache, and engine server. In this case, we create Compose YAML. The Compose YAML is also Dockerfile, and I write a Docker Compose YAML in YAML languages. A Docker Compose YAML file describes all the service, the image, power, volume, and network. A single command Docker Compose help to launch everything. You don't need a launch the different services one by one. So you have a Docker Swarm. A Docker Swarm is another service basic in a Docker. A Docker Swarm helps to orchestrate container on a cluster, a set of multiple machines. We use this method to make horizontally scaling an application across multiple servers. So this is my presentation. This is my presentation. So you have a question. I'm here to explain and help you to understand.
Hi, Mohim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Please, one moment, please. Emanuela, is it possible to help me with the question?
Yes, I will help you as well with the questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Factory is okay?
Yes. First of all, thank you for the great presentation. It's really interesting information and details about the Docker. And for any cases, I've just wondered about, have you ever tried a multi-staging the Dockers while separating the stages? So why I'm asking this, I'm sorry for distraction. So because to leveraging the more fast image buildings, the multi-staging, the Docker, it's really suitable in this case. Have you tested this kind of approach on your infrastructure or in your projects?
Firstly, you create an API, you create API services in a Docker Compose. For the multi-staging, you use a Docker Compose.yaml file. It's not a Docker file simply. So you create API services, database services, and the services to your app you need. That I understand your question.
Okay.
I respond to your question.
So the okay, a little bit difference actually. I mentioned that how we can achieve the fastest image.
Okay. Thank you.
In the multi-staging environment, yes.
It is fine.
Okay,
Thank you, Sandra. We are not.
It's
just
fine.
for you
No
to
worries.
know,
So no worries.
I don't think we are native speaker in English. I am French.
Yes. I've got the point. So there is no problems. Actually, I have understand. And you also got the quick point. Yeah. No worries.
Now you can answer. I think you understood the question.
Tara qui demande où stocker les images Docker, c'est ça, non?
Oui. Il te pose la question par rapport à la rapidité et par rapport à la. Oui. Il faut aller plus en détail par rapport à ta présentation.
Ok, bon. Je vais répondre en français. Tu vas essayer de m'aider à répondre en anglais.
No. You will answer in English, and Fakri will understand what you mean. Everyone is learning here. There is no issue. But no, just speak in English the way you want, and I will help you if you cannot understand.
Okay, Fakri, for the archive to image in your registry, it's possible to use a AWS registry. It's possible to use a GCP registry and a GitLab registry. When I create a new project, a new repository on GitLab, you have possibility to use a registry of GitLab. So in your Docker file and the CI/CD file, you specify to use a registry to store your images. So the command currently used is a Docker push, and I use Docker pull and the image name and tag to pull in a Docker image. I respond to your question. So I'm not English.
Okay, no worries. You are not English. We are also not English, but in any case, we are understanding all of us. So no worries. Thank you for your answer. Thank
you. Another question? I will try to respond everyone.
I have a question for you, maybe. How did you start learning all of this? I guess you didn't say and just realize, oh, I want to learn this. What triggered your motivation to learn? Je peux le dire en français aussi si tu veux. Hein?
Il demande s'il veut démarrer, par quoi il veut démarrer, c'est ça, non?
Moi, je te pose la question. C'est moi qui te pose la question.
Ok, super. Tu parles français.
No. Okay. Do it in English. I will be slow. Why did you want to focus on this specific topic today? Pourquoi tu as voulu te focaliser sur ce topic-là, sur ce sujet-là?
In English. Okay. So I currently use Docker in my projects, many projects. So Docker is an open source. First, Docker is an open source platform. You have a possibility to install and use to many servers. It's not, you have not a restriction. Is the first. So another advantage, when I use a Docker in your project, you have the possibility to deploy your project in many platforms. You have not a restriction. It's possible to deploy the project in a Windows platform and in the Linux platform. You don't have a restriction. Another advantage, you use a Docker. With a Docker, you have the possibility to use a only server to deploy a many projects. And a network configuration is not so difficult with the use of Ansible, Terraform. So for the containerization, I like to use Docker. This is the reason I want to make a topic with Docker.
Thank you. Any other questions? Always make sure that, yes, all the participants, yes, they all got in. So perfect. I love it. Thank you. So yeah, any other question? Maybe Emanuela?
Yes, well done, great, and thank you for explanation. So I just wanted you to explain if you have, let's say, multiple containers, and then one container needs to talk to the other container. What can you walk us through what your approach is like? Maybe you have a front end that needs to talk to a back end container. How do you go about it?
When I use a Docker compose file and you have a mystic stage, it's possible you have a possible to use a service name to communicate with another service. Example, you have a web application, so in a Docker compose file, you have a database services based in a MySQL images. So you have a API on a basis in a PHP. You have a possibility to write a Docker entry point, to write a API entry point to use a database name in the link. You have possibility to use a database name in the link. So you don't need to deploy a database and get a URL when I want to send your query. You have possibility to use a services name to communicate because your API services and the database services in a event network.
Take your time to answer. There is no rush. You still have 20 minutes. Take your time. It's more conversation. Yeah.
Emmanuel, is okay? You understand my response?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Another question?
So yes, just a clarification. I just wanted to know whether usually you would want to collaborate with the developers in building the Docker file, because most of the DevOps engineers may not be developers. And so if the application is built in a language that you are not so familiar with, how do you go about creating the images?
So the DevOps don't working without the developer. DevOps don't working without the developer. When I don't understand the language to use to develop the app, you collaborate with the developer to write a Docker file. A Docker file is mainly important. When I write a Docker file, you have the possibility to make a many configuration and configuration to require to deploy app in your server. So the response is collaborate with developer to help you to write a Docker file. So to specify to say, one moment, I send. The developer specifies the application requirement. The developer specifies the application requirement, and when we have a requirement, you have possibility to write a Docker file.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So I want to precise when I need a basis images, you have a Docker Hub registry. Docker Hub is a platform Docker proposed to different images to use a base. I sent a link in the chat. Docker Hub link. Docker Hub. In this platform, you have many images to use to create your first deployment. You have engines, Apache, PHP images. That is okay. Everybody have a question? Hello.
So apart from Docker, have you tried any other containerization platform? And if yes, what has been your experience like?
Yes, I use Kubernetes in one project. I use Kubernetes. So I'm not currently use Kubernetes every day. I use a Docker to deploy my project. Kubernetes, I use Kubernetes for one project.
So how was it like when compared to Docker? Do you have to still go through the process of containerization before you go to the cluster, or you have a way you go about it?
Kubernetes is a containerization tools advanced. Kubernetes help you in different pods. So when organization, so is more advanced. Docker is to use Docker in a simple project and web application. You have not more requirements. When an application need a scaling, to make a scaling horizontal or a Kubernetes is a tool is adapted.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so please, unit is still on. If you want any clarification, maybe it is your first time hearing about Docker and you want her to break it down for you in the most simplest terms, please unmute and then ask your questions.
Really, I don't understand your question. It's possible to repeat, please?
No, it's not.
He didn't ask a question. What he said was to help you. He didn't ask a question.
It's just on the suggestion that
Yes.
for the others that who is not to ask about the Docker or about overall the containerization technologies.
Okay. Thank you, Emmanuel.
To be honest, I think it was an interesting one. After we can write an article about it to go deeper, but I think it's your first time, And to be honest, I am proud of you. I know sometimes it can be hard to go in front of, let's say, 20, 30, 40 people, especially if that is not your language. To be honest, I love it.
Thank you very much, Tara. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Ozlunara team. Thank you, every participant. English is not my language, so I want to try and I try.
Yes.
You are the perfect, Molly. Thank you for great interview, a great actual presentation that what you have done here, and for your answers, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then, yes, you will find the recording on the university, and as well as in Bill Wither magazine. So this is a launch that we are doing for women, and yes, you will find her story on the magazine as well. So thank you, Judith. I loved it so much.
Thank you, Tarak. I love you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And see you on Saturday then.
See you on
Bye.
Saturday, guys.
Well done, guys. See you on Saturday.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, guys.